I'm a part of a Facebook group put on by Sean Cannell and Think Media called YouTube 1K Challenge. It's gonna happen. I know it's gonna happen. Where he recently asked the question, what would your life look like if you were able to go full time on YouTube? That question obviously caught my attention because I'm making a video about it. And I thought it would be interesting to dive into some of the responses and also share my take. First of all, I love questions like this because it seems pretty straightforward at first, but when you look into the answers, you see that it can be taken a handful of different ways. Some people answered with what their YouTube channel would be about. Some people answered with how much money they would need to make. Some people answered with what their lifestyle would look like. And so it was kind of all over the place, which was really cool. For example, somebody said, honestly, it would be very calming, but intense at the same time. Calming because I would know that I'm making a living doing what I love, and intense because of my passion for content creation would deepen even more than it does now. So I'd imagine this person, when they look at that question, thinks, oh, if I had all the time that I wanted to create, I would just make even more video content than I'm able to make now. I can resonate with that. Somebody said, if I could do it full time, I'd hopefully be able to have my significant other either stay at home and do whatever she wants. And someone else just said, probably richer and busier. And then somebody answered the question with another question. How do I get started? This is all really great stuff. And I thought I'd go ahead and give my take based on two different ways of interpreting the question. So the first one is, what would your life look like if you went full-time on YouTube? The answer to that question is going to vary a lot depending on who you're talking to, their circumstances, whether or not they have a family or other hobbies. For me, because I've got a big family and a lot of responsibilities, a mortgage, all of those things, I'd probably be really intense about it at first because I would have to hustle to make sure that what I was able to make on YouTube would match my financial needs. Now, that's definitely not the case for everybody. Like if one of my kids wanted to start doing YouTube full time, yeah, they'd have to balance that with school, but they also don't have the financial responsibilities that I do. And so they'd be able to kind of ease into it a little bit more, not have to be as intense with it. A second way I understood this question, and what I want to go into a little bit more, is this. What would your YouTube career have to look like in order for you to be able to go full time? So the twist on the way I asked this question is, how would your channel have to be performing? What kind of money would you be making from YouTube in order for you to be able to just focus on that full time and not do anything else? And that answer is going to vary a lot from person to person too, because of some of the things that I mentioned before. People just have different financial responsibilities depending on their circumstances. So if I have a lot of financial responsibilities and I need to make a lot of money, does that mean I need to have millions of subscribers and hundreds of millions or billions of views? No. And this introduces one of my favorite ideas that I've seen come up lately, and it's this idea of a creator middle class. In any given industry, based on the dynamics of that industry, you could have a varying range of income levels. Some industries have a variety of income levels ranging from just starting out to like CEO level. In some industries, you're just barely scraping by, or you're a Hollywood actor making millions of dollars and there's not a lot of stuff in between happening. In the creator industry, and when I say creator, that's a pretty broad term, but for people who make things online, there's a growing middle class. What that means is the options available for people who make things to make money without having to have millions of subscribers are starting to grow. So what it would have to look like in order for me to go full-time on YouTube today is very different from what it would have looked like 5 or 10 years ago. Now with YouTube, I can be really entrepreneurial and sell books, or I could sell online courses or some other service. And there are tons and tons of options for doing that. One of my favorite ways is through Podia, which is the company that I work for. You could go a community-based route with patronage, like Buy Me a Coffee or Patreon, or you could sell an online membership where people can interact with you and you can have discussions. And then of course you can go the attention-based route where you're monetizing the attention your channel gets with ads or sponsors. And that can also vary quite a bit, because if your content is really targeted and is in an industry where there's a lot of money to go around, you might attract some sponsors who could actually fund your entire channel without having to go after a bunch of different ones. Now, a lot of these options have existed for a long time, but it's never been easier than it is today to take advantage of those options. So that's the long answer to this question of, do you need millions of subscribers in order to go full-time on YouTube? There are so many examples out there of channels that don't have millions of subscribers, or not even hundreds of thousands, and are still doing YouTube full-time. And the other factor to consider is, how much time does it take? Well, that also varies wildly depending on the type of content you create, how frequently you post, your video editing skills, whether or not you want to outsource some parts of the video creation process. And I'm not even going to talk about the impact of new AI tools like ChatGPT. I'm not going to talk about it. So that's my long answer to the question of, what would life look like if you were able to go full-time on YouTube? I'd love to hear your answer to the question. Go ahead and leave a comment below and tell me what that is. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.